show you how I built this loft for less than $800. And I'm going to show you how I built this light that is lighting up the entire shop right now. You won't believe what shape it's in. I'm also going to show you how to put an invisible barrier on your garage floor so they repel water and oil. Was there any water in that? What?
So from the time I built the shop, I knew I wanted some sort of mezzanine or loft area, and when I started looking them up online, it became very evident I was going to have to figure something out myself. So I knew I wanted a metal loft. I didn't want to just build this thing out of wood. I wanted it to be very, very sturdy, and I wanted to be able to kind of add on to it. I want a lot of shelving. I need a ton of storage because I realized with the last shop that I had no storage at all, and it just wrecked everything. I mean, everything was a total mess all the time because there was no place for all of the stuff that I had when I was disassembling cars. So that is what this is first. And then it also creates a room, and then it also creates an overhead loft space. Now, what I needed was metal, and metal is expensive, and I found these things called pallet racks. Now, you know what a pallet rack is, even if you've never heard the name, because they put them in all department stores, especially if you go to like a home improvement store like Lowe's or Home Depot. The shelves they use are all pallet racks because they are ultra, ultra strong, and they're really modular. They're made to be set up however you want. But pallet racks online are like $3,000 brand new, and I knew I was going to need like at least 2 racks to be able to build this thing that I had thought of. And so I got online and I found out that warehouses get torn down all the time, and people come and take the pallet racks and sell them. And so I found some on Facebook Marketplace. I think the guy was asking like $1,000 or something, $1,200 for a set of 6 14-footers. I got 3 of them for $500, and then you saw me cut them in half. So that gave me 4. I've got 2 7-footers and 2 14-footers to build my loft. Now, he also gave me 8 of the crossbars for shelving, and so I'm going to use those to kind of hold this all together. Now, these things literally click together. I mean, it's really awesome. And they went up so quick, I decided to go ahead and build the loft. I wasn't planning on doing that in this video, but it was fun and easy, and so I decided to go ahead and keep moving with it. And so we went and bought some wood, just some 2x6s and some, what do you call that stuff that goes on the floor? Subfloor. Yeah, I guess just subfloor, and started building. Now, we decided to build this thing in place because of how heavy it was going to be. It was just me, my dad, my nephew, and my son, and so I didn't really think it was a good idea to build this deck off and try to lift it up onto the loft. And so basically what we did is set our joists up on the loft, just kind of balance them up there, cut our end plate and marked it out, and then screwed everything together. Don't worry, I got some close-ups of the screws so you could see how precise we were being. This all went together really, really quick and left us with kind of like a 3/4 of a deck, and all we had to do was measure the back. I don't know what this is called, like a face board. I'm sure there's a name. Comment below and let me know. But the back 2x6 that everything connects to, and put it up there and line all our measurements up and screw everything together, and we had a deck. But we still had to connect it to something on the back end. It's resting on the pallet jacks on the front, but I needed it connected on the back, and so we basically just screwed it into the wall. Now, we came back later after the video and put in some jack studs, which is just a stud that sits up underneath like a structure to kind of give it more support. I just didn't trust, I'm going to be loading weight onto this thing, and I didn't trust the, I don't know, machine sheet metal screws or whatever we used to put them in to hold all that weight. Maybe they would have, maybe they wouldn't. We'll never have to know because the jack studs are going to take the load. I also wanted to build a little bit of like a porch up there on the side that kind of faces out towards the big open garage. And honestly, I wish it was deeper than this. I love Tokyo Drift, and everyone that's watched Tokyo Drift has seen this scene and wished that it was their garage. And so I'm going to build a little miniature version of that in my garage so that I can walk out on this little porch and look at whatever's in my garage. They're not going to be like NSXs and Evos. It's going to be like old beat up Porsches and MGBs. But either way, to me, it will be cool, and I'll have that kind of porch. The rest of it's going to get closed off for an office and a place where I can do recordings that's not in my car. And honestly, that's it. I had $250 worth of wood and $500 worth of metal in the scaffolding stuff, the pallet racks that I bought. $750. I have a mezzanine that is really big. It's 14 by, if you count the little porch area, it's like 14 by 16, I think. So do the math. I'm not sure. Lots of square feet up there. And that's going to be my office. I'm going to put some windows in there, maybe build a porch that goes outside. I don't know. The sky's the limit. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. But we're not done. You'll notice this video has more chapters. And so you can see what these other things are going to be. but I suggest you watch them. They're really cool. So we had to move on to the next chapter of this part 2 of the build, which is lighting. I would like for my shop to feel like the surface of the sun. I mean, it has got to be as bright as possible. Working in dim lighting is something I did for the first several years of the channel. And then I got some brighter lighting at the shop that we just moved out of, but it still wasn't really enough. And so this time we're going all the way, all the lighting possible. And I pretty much described this whole process while I was doing it. So we'll just cut to me a few months ago when I built this thing.
So I've had one major problem with this shop from day one, and it's getting power to it. Now I did wire the shop up, I don't know, 3 months ago, and I had some issues getting power actually run to the shop, but it is finally run. The only problem now, other than the echo in here, is lighting. I have no lights in here, and so right now it's okay, because I can open the doors up and it's daylight outside, but as soon as it gets dark, which right now is about 4:30 in the afternoon, you can't see anything in here. It's completely useless. So we have to do some lighting. Now, last shop that I had, I used these. Let me show you. These guys right here. These are really great LED lights that I got off of Amazon. Michael O'Neill from Wrench put me on these. Check out Wrench if you haven't yet. Really cool channel. But he put me on these things. They are not cheap. I guess cheap is relative, but to me, they're not cheap, but they work great. They're super bright. It's 2 LED strips inside the bulb, and they're really durable. I've dropped one of these from like 16 feet, still works. So I have these from the last shop, and then I also bought these. Same brand, same everything. They're just 4 feet long instead of 8. Now I wanted fancy lighting in here. I looked at some hexagon lights because the built logo is a hexagon. I thought it'd be cool to have a full like hexagon grid up there. And I thought it'd be cooler if I made one, and I think I can do it cheaper. So what I did is I ordered a bunch of those, 4 feet ones. I had a bunch of 8 feet ones, and I designed these. These are brackets designed by me, and we're gonna build a custom light for the shop. It should light the whole shop, I think, with these brackets and some zip ties. I would try to explain it, but everyone I've tried to explain this to has just looked at me very confused. So maybe it's not gonna work, maybe it will work, but we're gonna find out really quickly. I'm hoping this is gonna be like a really short video. It shouldn't take long, but there you go. This is the secret to making our custom light. I'm gonna put you guys up there on the new mezzanine that we built so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And yeah, we'll just build them. That is pretty cool. It is so bright. And this is uplight, and it lights the entire shop up. So I think overhead down is gonna be awesome. Now, all right, so under further review, it was just too flimsy. And so what we did is went and got some of these 1x, which is a 2" by 3/4 inch piece of wood. Fortunate for me, I happened to design these brackets in kind of that spec. They're a little bit wider than the board. And so my hope is that in putting all this together and then zip tying it all, that the wood and these metal and then the aluminum from the lights will be rigid enough for us to hang this up in the ceiling. We're having trouble getting this thing up in the air. This is our option number 3. We've got all the points tied to a center string. We're gonna try to lift it all the way up from the center. The outside's still unsupported, so we may have to do something like tie those in or something, I don't know, but for now we're gonna try this. All right, it tried to separate itself. So our solution, more zip ties. I don't know if it's gonna work. We're gonna give it another go. As it gets tired. All right, final step. Well, not really, but final mounting step. We've got this is holding all of the weight in the center right now. That looks really tight, doesn't it? It's good. Oh! I was not ready for what you were doing. You come look at the sky when you get done. That's why I built the shop here.
Now, the goal with the light was to build something that resembled kind of the hexagrid stuff that everybody's seen, but was cheaper. And I didn't exactly do that because it was not cheaper. I ended up spending about $480 on this light fixture, but it is huge. And the coolest part to me is that it's my logo. It's my logo in the sky. So it's not as sturdy. It's not as stable. It's not as good. It's not as high quality as what you would have gotten by spending that money, but it is probably bigger. And it's my logo, so I love it, and it's up there, and it's never coming down as far as I'm concerned. I did connect all of the lights with zip ties, so if I do have to replace one, I'll just cut the ties and put them up. I hope I don't have to replace one, though, because it is, like, really high. The camera, it's real GoPro effect with the camera. It does not do any justice. It is so high up there, and it just feels sketchy, especially when you're up there by yourself, which I'm sure is some sort of OSHA violation, but it's my house, so I can do that.
I debated a lot with myself on what to do for the sealant on the concrete. I want this concrete to stay clean. I want this shop to be nice. I've never worked in a nice, clean shop with smooth concrete before, and this is gonna be it. And so I decided on this product. Now, I looked at a lot of different sealers. I looked at epoxy. I looked at everything because it was just such a big decision. I spent a lot of money on this smooth concrete, and I never want to have to do it again. And so I found the highest rated product on the internet. This is this Ghost Shield stuff, and we're gonna do basically a two-part system on it. The 4500 primer, which basically like hardens the concrete. It fixes a lot of issues that just comes with concrete in general, seals it up, and then we're gonna go on top of that with a sealer, this 8500 Siloxatec. This is the stuff that I actually found through reviews on the internet. This is just a way to make this Siloxatec better. But I've got 6 total squares of concrete in this shop. I've done 4 of them, I've cleaned them, and we're gonna do this whole treatment on these floors, and then I'll show you what non-treated versus treated looks like at the end. And it's really, really, I mean, it's crazy. Another major reason I picked this stuff is the prep is just minimal. With smooth concrete like this, I pressure washed it off. We're going to mix this half and half with water in a spray bottle, and then we just spray it. Brush out the puddles, make sure it's all uniform and clean, and then that's it, you're done. You just wait 5 to 7 days and let it harden, and then you can put the 8500 on. And it's the same deal with the 8500, you just do 2 coats. I mean, it's so simple, it's easy, that's why we're using it. So, all right, it has been 14 days total. 7 days after the 4500, that was the primer we put down to harden the concrete, and then another 7 days after putting down the 8505. Now, you'll notice, this is concrete that has been treated. That concrete there with all the stuff on it hasn't been treated, and they look basically the same. All right, but there's more to this concrete than meets the eye. At least I suppose there is. I have not tested this at all, so I don't actually know if it's gonna work. But the reason I chose this is because of what this stuff is supposed to be able to do, and that is provide basically an invisible barrier to help prevent stains on your concrete and help the concrete last longer. All right, so I gotta find a place to test. Regular concrete, this is what the water does. Basically, instantly soaks down into the concrete. If you try to dry it up, it smears and you still have this water stain. You guys have all experienced this on your driveways and whatever else. That's just what it does. That's what concrete does. And the bad part about that, with cars especially, is not water, it's oil. And oil seeping down into the concrete stays basically forever. The spot I tested was over there by the car. You can kind of see it. It's kind of a mess over there, sorry. So what's supposed to happen is if you spill water on this, a little nervous. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. That's, wow. Huh? That is crazy. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so look, that's where I just poured the water, right? It's like, it's dry. Wow, okay, so now here's the test that I'm really not looking forward to. Oil. 5W30 that goes in the CRV. All right, stop being a wuss, just do it. Pour some oil out. Look at that. Look at that. Now, normally the oil would obviously be seeping down into the concrete. But it does. Dude, what in the world? I don't even know if I was filming. I'm sorry. Look at that, though. That is amazing. It's gone. It's gone. That's amazing.
All right, that is it. The part 2 of the shop is done. It is time to start moving things in, and I'm so excited. You might notice the back porch looks way different than it used to, and that's thanks to Jonathan from Northeast Alabama Land Movers. Jonathan has done a ton of work up there, grinding trees away and clearing that out so that the view is awesome, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And a huge thank you to Ghost Shield, too. Now, they're not technically a sponsor of this video, but I did so much research in concrete protection and found them to just be on top in every set of reviews for application and for protection and all of that. And so I did reach out to them. I got a discount code for you guys here. It's below, and we're going to talk about doing something longer term. So if you guys were impressed with the Ghost Shield stuff like I was, make sure to comment below. Let us know. Let them know on their Instagram if they have one. I think they have one. But let Ghost Shield know that you saw them on Built, because I would like to work with them. I love working with products that just work really well. I love supporting products that work really well. It's the way that I got with Techron. It's the way that I'm got with Phoenix Systems. It's the way that I got with Quick Jacks. And I want to be in the same boat with Ghost Shield. It's really, I mean, it's really good. It's really good. I've got a lot of things that have changed in my life over the past couple of years, including like a new child. And so 3 children is more than 2 children. We've moved, we're building this shop. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I've started another job and doing a lot of stuff. And so, so it's just taking me some time to get projects done and get them out of my life forever. But I'm going there. It's working. So we're just going to keep our head down. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep getting projects done so I can get back to doing the things that I want to be doing. Which are the things that are fun and creative. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this shop. I'm very excited to be done with part 2. Part 3, I think, going to be office. We'll be moving some stuff in, setting up stations because I want different stations for everything that I do in the shop, and just making it more functional. That's the goal. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.